Hi, welcome to Bikate's Crossing as we continue with our exploration of Journey of the Heart, The Path of Conscious Love by John Welwood. We're up to chapter 6 and this is part 2, Passion and Devotion. So let's have a look and see if I use the Oracle of Passion, one of my other creations, of course, that you can find on Make Playing Cards. So let's have a look and see, what message we're going to get here. And what do I get? Okay. I get the sense, when I look at this card here, I get the sense of dewdrops. Like we're little drops in a bigger world, right? We're little pieces in a bigger world. That's the thing here. We're little drops in a bigger world is what I got here. I get the sense of, to get a vision of clarity, music or meditation might be really important here. Some meditation music, some sense of listening to some, maybe we need to dance through life to get the sense of clarity that we need. Remembering that we're just a small part of this world. We're just a dewdrop. We're just that small part of the bigger world. Here is what I get here. This card. Okay, so let's take a moment to take a breath. So we looked at the gap in the wall. We looked at that sense of just being in the moment and knowing that we are such a small cog or a small drop in this larger world, that it's really important that we have a really clear picture about what we want to do. And maybe listening to music, dancing with music, just being with music is going to allow us to have that sense of clarity that we need because of where we are. You know, I do feel like we have those drops in our life, those moments. Could be about enjoying the moments as we go through life. Okay, passion and devotion. In this way, our unconditional passion, which is a genuine longing to connect with the vastness of life, gets converted into an addictive obsession. Yet the belief that our wealth of feeling comes from the object of our passion, whom we must therefore possess. It is not just a personal delusion. It is also widely promoted by our culture at large and is a common theme in countless plays, movies, books and love songs. How many songs on the radio do we hear that the variations on the theme of "You are everything, I am nothing," "You're the better part of me," "You are my only sunshine," "I can't live if living is without you," "I've got to have you baby," etc. Yet, if this were just a Hollywood fabrication, it would not have such a deep hold at every level of our society. What makes it such a powerful cultural theme is that it represents a convergence of psychological, spiritual, and hysterical factors, which together create a web of illusion from which it is hard to extricate ourselves. The fantasy that our beloved can save us is a distorted form of the powerful idea from the courtly love tradition from which all of our notions of romantic love derive. The troubadour poetry of 12th century France taught that the romantic feeling between two people was a vehicle for connecting with the divine, the deep human urge to connect with something greater than ourselves, which have been the exclusive province of religion, now took a circular form. The troubadour songs were influenced by the poetry of Sufism, the mystical branch of Islam, which expressed intense devotional longing for the divine or the spiritual master addressed as the beloved. The troubadour imported this fervent devotional sentiment into his poetry, directing it towards his lady rather than to God. Yet although courtly love took place between two people, man and woman, man and man, woman and woman, rather than between humanity and God, it still retained a spiritual orientation. In its purest form, a knight would fall in love with a woman who was already married, but would forego sexual consummation with her. This was an ingenious device that allowed a lover to use the power of his passion for his own transformation. With sexual conquest ruled out, the trials he had to undergo in the service of his lady became a path of character development and spiritual purification. The refining quality of such a love helped him to develop new sensitivities and realize that era's new ideal to become a gentle man. By falling in love with someone he could not expect to attain, the courtly lover could experience the two sides of passion simultaneously. While focusing his desire on the finite form of his lady, conditional passion, he also had to let go of possessing her, which threw him back into the pure intensity of his feeling, to the source of unconditional passion inside himself. This combination of intensely focusing his passion while having to let go of grasping put him on the razor's edge, and this allowed him to open up in new ways. When we sit on the razor's edge, consciously directing our love towards an object we know we can never possess, passion can ripen into something deeper, devotion. Wholeheartedly, devotion, whether it to be a loved one, a spiritual master, or ultimate truth, is a power transformative energy that can work magic on the human soul. Recognizing this, many religions, traditions have developed devotional practices that harness this energy for spiritual purposes. Since the devotee cannot possess the object of devotion, God, or the spiritual master, devotional practice requires him to relinquish fixation so that he may discover the fullness of his love as the treasure of his own heart. This awakens him from the poverty of depending on the others to the richness of his deeper being, which he can then begin to share more fully with others. The romantic devotional practice of courtly love was so powerful that it still shapes how we fall in love 800 years later. Yet we have lost touch with the original transformative purpose of this practice. Although our romantic ideas still echo the sentiments of the troubadours, we differ from them in expecting a real life relationship to fill what is essentially a spiritual longing. Lacking any sense of how passion could be a devotional path for tapping greater powers inside us, we imagine that we can find some kind of salvation through taking possession of an ideal golden princess or knight in shining armor. So instead of being purified by love, we often wind up reduced to a state of addiction or dependency, feeling bitter when we fail to find our hoped for salvation. Passion becomes a torment, and our devotional feelings become enslaving rather than liberating. In the words of the Sufi master Hazrat Inayat Khan, the sorrow of the lover is continual. In the presence and absence of the beloved, in the presence for fear of the absence, and an absence and longing for the presence, the pain of love becomes, in time, the life of the lover. Romantic agony. The longing to devote ourselves to something we regard as greater than ourselves is a beautiful quality. But when we fail to recognize its essential nature as a basic need to realize the fullness of our larger being, falling in love can leave us feeling helpless and tortured. Like Joanna in her obsessions with men, here we see the relation between the words passion and passive. In falling under the spell of her lovers, Joanna saw herself as a passive victim, a state of mind commonly portrayed in the classic love tales. Tristan feels driven toward Isolde, not out of choice, but because he had accidentally swallowed a love potion. In the most famous of Sufi love tales, Majnun laments that his passion for Layla, which causes him to go mad and wander the countryside composing love songs, is completely beyond his control. I have not chosen the way. I have been cast upon it. I am manacled and my fetters are made of iron. But it was not I who forged them. It was my kismet that decided. I follow obediently my beloved who owns my soul. Whoa, that's powerful. That's really powerful. Okay. Eventually, this agony itself may become addicting because its burning intensity makes us feel so alive. This is born the classic romantic melodrama. The lover's struggle to overcome the obstacles between himself and his beloved keeps the fire of his passion burning at a feverish pitch. Yet, while struggling to win his beloved, the lover also unconsciously sabotages any genuine relationship with her. Okay? Yet, while struggling to win the beloved, the lover also unconsciously sabotages any genuine relationship with them so that they can maintain the vivid intensity of their longing. If they actually get to know their beloved as an ordinary, imperfect person with the same sorts of needs and failings of themselves. Okay, so let's continue with that. Sorry, there's a knock at the door. Okay, this is born the classic romantic melodrama. The lover's struggle to overcome the obstacles between himself and his beloved keeps the fire of his passion burning at a feverish pitch. Yet while struggling to win their beloved, the lover also unconsciously sabotages any genuine relationship with them so that they can maintain the vivid intensity of their longing. If they actually get to know their beloved as an ordinary, imperfect person with the same sorts of needs and failings as themselves, they will no longer be able to sustain the illusion that makes them feel so high. Thus, we often unconsciously choose partners who are unattainable because of marriage, age, geographical distance, or emotional incompatibility. Or else, we may start fights that create distance just when we're getting too close. This keeps us stuck in the neurotic runaround that is the stuff of all soap operas, seeking fulfillment and denying it to ourselves at the same time. As Majnun proclaims to Layla, "You are my slave for 100,000 wounds, yet you are also my sickness." Love and death. Addictive passion is thus a no-win situation, in Majnun's words, a riddle without a solution, a code which none can decipher. The only solution for Layla and Majnun is the classic denouncement of countless tragic romances, death. Thus, paradoxically, passion, which starts out making us feel so intensely alive, brings us to the consideration of death. What is the death of the lovers pointing to? As a symbol, it contains important clues about how we can overcome addictive passion while still enjoying the larger unconditional passion at the root of this connection. At one level, the lover's death suggests that addiction to anything we use to make ourselves feel high must eventually lead to destruction. The Tale of Axel and Sarah, a gem of 19th century melancholy romanticism by Villiers de l'Isle Adams, clearly illustrates this. Axel, a lonely, brooding young count, meets Sarah in the treasury of his castle, where they instantly fall in love. After feasting on delicious fantasies about how they could run away together, using his riches to travel the world and taste its infinite delights, Axel decides that they should instead commit suicide at the height of their passion. He knows that everyday life could never measure up to the dreams that have set their hearts ablaze. To consent after this to live would be but sacrilege against ourselves. Live, our servants will do that for us. Live, our servants will do that for us. In choosing the heavenly illusion of addictive passion, they must sacrifice earthly reality. In Axel's words, the quality of our hope no longer allows us the earth. In everyday life, addiction to passion may lead to death in so different sorts of ways. The jilted lover who kills his beloved because he loves her so much is one example. More commonly, couples who try to hold on to their passion by keeping it in a fixed mould often do real damage to their relationship, as one woman described the death that occurred in her marriage. I was afraid of losing my passion. I wanted to feel it on demand, even in the middle of my pregnancy, when I was not naturally feeling sexual. I needed it to let me know that I was alive, and to prove that our relationship was still okay. When I didn't feel it, I blamed our relationship. By trying to hold on so hard to my passion, I killed it, and the marriage too. Yet the death that intervenes in the classic love tales also has a deeper significance. It points to the necessity of letting go, which, although it may seem like a death, can also take us beyond the snares and dead ends of romantic illusions. What must die when we let the deeper current of our passion flow freely is our small, impoverished view of ourselves, and along with that, our attempt to grasp onto another person to save us. Some years ago, I had a powerful realization about the connection between love and death. One day, during a meditation retreat in the Rocky Mountains, as my ideas about who I was began to fall away, I started to feel more vividly alive and present. Soon, however, this liberating feeling turned to fear. Out of this fear arose an elaborate fantasy about marrying the woman in my life. But then, just as the marriage ceremony ended and we were enjoying our new union, the thought struck like lightning. What if she dies? What if I die? Once again, nothing to hold on to. Suddenly, with a jolt, I found myself back in my cabin in the Rockies. The next morning, waking up before dawn in a dreamlike state, I imagined I was dying. I'd been having trouble breathing at that altitude and felt constricted in my chest. I considered how to prepare myself for death, but nothing felt quite right. Finally, it became clear that all I could do was to let love flow freely through me without trying to stay in control. As I felt what that was like, I found that I could give in to dying. The constriction in my chest began to ease. The sun was coming up, and I looked out of my sleeping bag to find another day beginning. Reflecting on this, I saw the connection between my experiences of these 2 days. On the first day, when my sense of identity fell away, and I had a glimpse of pure, passionate presence to life, I had become afraid of that free, egoless energy because it gave me nothing to hold on to. So I had converted my unconditional passion into a specific longing directed toward the woman I imagined marrying. My fantasy had been an attempt to save myself from the little death I was experiencing as my identity dissolved. Yet it too led to the same place. What if we die? And so I had to face death, coming to terms with it, only by letting my love for life run through my body without restraint. So just as love makes death all the more poignant, death makes loving all the more essential. Dying requires us to love and let go. Love requires us to die and let go. Okay, that's it for the moment. It looks like I'm going to do a part 3 with this. Okay, so don't forget to check the links down below. Check the links on my channel. Like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you know when the next video will be uploaded. Take care and blessed be.